Hello everyone, welcome to Swag Talks. My name is Himashree and my register number is 22B01A4639. So, here is a small presentation about operating system structure. We done this PPT under the guidance of Dr. M. Prasad sir, PhD, Associate Professor, Department of CSC, SWEC, Bhimavaram. Operating system structure. What is an operating system structure? An operating system is a design that enables user application programs to communicate with the hardware of the machine. It the operating system should be built with the utmost care because it is very such a complicated structure and it should be simple to use and modify. It is partially developing the operating system is a simple approach to accomplish this. There are sorts of structure that implement operating system. So the first one is simple structure and next is the layer structure and third is the microkernel structure and next it is a module structure and here goes the last one Mac OS X. Now we will discuss about what is a simple structure. Simple structure. It is the most straightforward operating system structure. It is used for tiny and restricted systems. This structure is used by MS-DOS operating system. So we can see in the diagram there are different layers and each can perform their own task. These layers include ROM BIOS, device drivers, MS-DOS device drivers, application programs, and system programs. The MS-DOS operating system benefits from layering because each level can be defined independently and when necessary can interact with one another. Coming to the advantages and disadvantages of a simple structure. Advantages. Because there are only few interfaces and levels as we saw in the diagram, it is very easy to develop. Next, it has fewer layers between the hardware and the applications. It offers super performance. Disadvantages. The entire operating system breaks if just one user program malfunction. Since the layers are interconnected and in communication with one another, there is no data hiding. The operating system operations are accessible to layers which can result in data tampering and system failure. Now let us discuss about layer structure. The OS is separated into layers or levels in a kind of arrangement. We can see in the diagram it contains layer 0 which contains a hardware and next topmost is the layer 1, the highest layer. Layer n contains an user interface. These layers are organized hierarchically with the top level layers making use of the capabilities of the lower level ones. The functionalities of each layer are separated in this method and here we saw that in simple structure abstraction is not succeeded but here we can abstract the data. So example for the layer structure is Unix because it is layer structures are hierarchically debugging is very simple. Therefore all lower layers are debugged before the upper layer is examined. Advantages of layer structure. As we saw in the diagram, each layer is separated. So each layer has its own functionality and there is some amount of abstraction. The lower layers are examined first, followed by the top layers. So the debugging is simpler. Disadvantages of layer structure. Performance is only compromised due to the layering. Construction of the layers require very careful design because upper layers only make use of lower layer capabilities.
Microkernel structure. The operating system is created using a microkernel framework that strips the kernel of any unnecessary parts. System and user applications are used to implement these optional kernel components. So, microkernels is the name given to these systems that have been developed. Each microkernel is created separately and is kept apart from the others. As a result, the system is now more trustworthy and secure. Advantages of microkernel structure. It enables portability of the operating system across platforms. Due to the isolation of each microkernel, it is reliable and secure. The reduced size of microkernels allows for successful testing. The remaining operating system remains unaffected and keeps running properly even if a component or microkernel fails. Disadvantages of microkernel structure. The performance of the system is decreased by increased inter-module communication. The construction of a system is complicated. Module structure. It is considered as the best approach for an OS. It involves designing of a modular kernel. The kernel has only a set of core components and other services are added as dynamically loadable modules to the kernel either during runtime or boot time. It resembles layered structure due to the fact that each kernel has defined and protected interfaces, but it is more flexible than a layered structure as a module can call any other module. For example, Solaris OS is organized as shown in the above figure. Mac OS X. The Mac OS X architecture relies on the Match microkernel for basic system management services and the BSD kernel for additional services. Application services and dynamically loadable modules provide the rest of the OS functionality.